Hey guys, I have 8 tips to help you as a gigging musician. Number 1, when you're sound checking, don't sound check too long. And don't sound check too loud either. So if you're sound checking at a venue and there's people already there, you don't want to disrupt them too much. So get your sound check done and get it done as fast as you can. But obviously you want it to be sufficient enough that you'll be happy with the sound. So yes, you're going to have to probably play maybe a chorus or two with the band to make sure all your levels are consistent. And that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 kind of goes in that kind of same sense, and that is to keep your volume consistent through the night. So there's a tendency with a lot of bands to, and this is probably a problem with guitarists and with bass players, people that can actually turn their instrument up louder. You know, a drummer, yeah, he or she can play louder, but it's a lot easier, and it kind of tends to happen a lot more with bassists and guitarists, is they'll turn up gradually throughout the gig because they think that their sound's getting lost. So try to avoid this, because you sound check at the start to make sure it's consistent, so it shouldn't change. If everyone's turning up at the same time, you should have just sound checked like that, you know. So, and you should have sound checked at the same level. So, yeah. Number 3 is to make sure that you have spares of everything. If you're a guitarist that breaks a lot of strings, or a drummer that breaks a lot of sticks, just make sure you have a backup pair, because there's nothing worse than going into this, breaking a string or breaking a drumstick and not having a replacement. You know, what do you do? There's not much you can do, right? So that's number 3. Number 4 is to play to your crowd. So if you're playing a song and you notice that, you know, the dance floor is really going and the next tune that you've got is a bit of a slower number, don't play that song. Change your order, you know. Improvise and play a song that you know is going to keep the dance floor going. Tip number 5 is to take care of drinks on stage. So there's nothing worse than having a drink spilt on your equipment. Now, I've been lucky enough to not have had it happen to me, but you hear a lot of stories about happening to other people, so just take care. Tip number 6 kind of goes in the same sense of the volume. So if you're playing in a small venue and there's not a lot of space for people to be dancing, etc., just make sure that you're not playing too loud for that space. Or similarly, that you're not playing too quiet. You want to approach the space that you're playing and the clientele in a different way depending on where you're playing. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. And the last tip, number 8, is just to have fun. There's so many musicians that, you know, they've been gigging for a while and they just start to lose that interest that got them there in the first place. There's nothing worse than seeing someone that is just not having fun on stage. So just make sure that you're doing it because you want to be doing it. Thanks guys, and I hope those tips helped. And you can check out craftymuso.com for more great content for musicians.